Hey there, my friend. Grant Baldwin here. Hope you're having a great day. I am the founder and creator of thespeakerlab.com, and today we are going to be talking all about what do I speak about. Not for me personally, but for you, what is it that you should be speaking about? Now, maybe for you, you have some idea. Maybe you've done a few speaking engagements here and there, but you're just like, I just don't know what I should be speaking about, if there's certain topics or subjects I should be speaking about in order to get booked more. Maybe you're also having a difficult time figuring out who you should be speaking to, what's the ideal audience. Maybe you've fallen into the trap of, I can speak about anything and I can talk about to anyone, and that's something that you don't want to be doing. There's definitely far too many speakers who do that, and when they get asked, what is it that you should speak about, they say, I can speak about anything. What do you want me to speak about? That doesn't work. All right, so we're going to dig into this question here on what is it that you speak about. Now, in order to do that, we're going to go back to last week. We talked about this. If you didn't join us, let me go back a couple pages here. Let's see here. Here we go. So last week we talked about freespeakerworkshop.com, and we talked about the Speaker Success Roadmap. The Speaker Success Roadmap is a 5-step roadmap that we teach on exactly how to find and book paid speaking engagements. So we walked through this acronym, SPEAK, very clever, don't forget that, the acronym, not the clever part. The first one being to select a problem that you could solve, and that's what we're going to really dig into today. P, prepare your talk. E, to establish your expertise, establish yourself as the expert on that subject or topic. Acquire paid speaking gigs, and then know when to scale. And so this is when you would take your business and build it beyond the stage in terms of books, curriculum, products, anything else that you want to use to help build your message beyond the stage. So we're going to focus our time today on the selecting a problem to solve. And you see this quick little illustration we doodled last week. We're going to dig into that today. So let's go back to where we were here. There we go. Now again, a quick reminder, we're going to just touch on this today, on exactly how do you figure out what you should speak about and who you should speak to. But if you're looking for some more information, some more help and training and support, you definitely want to check out freespeakerworkshop.com, freespeakerworkshop.com. We do trainings just about every single week, just teaching you an in-depth system on how to find and book speaking engagements. And that 5-step process that I just showed you, the Speaker Success Roadmap, we dig into that a lot more on that training, again, at freespeakerworkshop.com. All right, so what is it that you should be speaking about? Well, again, like we just mentioned, the first thing that you should be doing is select a problem that you can speak on. Select a problem that you can solve. Now, how do you actually do that? Well, like I mentioned, we use 3 big circles here. And we're going to, each of these has kind of a different category, a different factor that plays into you determining what it is that you should speak about. So the first one that we're going to talk about here is the industry, or a better way of thinking of it is who. Who is it that you want to speak to? Now again, as a speaker, you can't say, well, I'll speak to anybody, I'll talk to whoever. You cannot do that. You have to be really, really clear about who it is that you want to speak to. Now, we found that there's a lot of different types of speaking industries. There's a lot of niches within niches within niches, but there are typically, we found 7 main industries that typically hire speakers. And that's a key, is you want to look for groups and organizations that are already looking for a speaker, that already have the problem that you are able to solve as a speaker. So those 7 industries are corporate, associations, government and military, nonprofit, then faith and churches. Then we have college and universities. And then finally would be education, or K through 12, meaning elementary, middle school, high school. So these would be the 7 most common industries and markets that are hiring speakers, that are looking for speakers. Now, an important factor here is you want to make sure that you are picking one of these that makes sense for your topic and for your subject, and that you are picking something that ideally you've got some experience with, something that maybe you're familiar with. And like I mentioned, there may be a bunch of different niches within here that maybe you are considering that you want to speak to. But again, the big picture here is to pick 1, maybe 2 of these industries that you want to speak to. Because the dangerous thing is saying, well, I speak to corporations, but I also speak to churches, and I also speak to high school students. Those are huge different groups and genres there, and so it's really difficult to try to market to all of them. So you really want to just pick one that you're going to focus on for speaking. So first question is who as relates to the industry. Who is it that you want to be speaking to? Now, if you are watching this live, or even if you're watching the recording of this, definitely go ahead and let me know what some of your questions are. Does that make sense? Let me know what questions that you have that we can try to answer. In fact, I'm going to pull up here on Facebook and see if any questions have popped up. Let me reload that. Make sure that we are answering questions that you got. All right, cool. Okay, so again, if you have questions, again, feel free to put those in the comment section, and we'll try to answer those as we go here. Okay, so let's jump back in here. So first one was industry. The second key piece here that you want to consider is what we're going to call interest, or what? Interest. So what is it that you want to speak about? And again, the key piece here of whatever it is that you choose to speak on is it has to be a specific problem that you feel like you can speak on. So for sometimes people want to say, well, I just want to talk about motivation, or I just want to tell my story, or I've had this crazy thing that's happened to me in life. And while that's all well and good, ultimately what you have to do as a speaker is you have to be speaking on a specific problem. So what is it that you want to speak about? What's the problem that you are solving for that audience? Now, whatever the interest piece is, it has to be an interest both for you and for the industry that you want to speak to. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say, for example, that you know what you want to speak about, and let's say you want to speak about you've got experience with sales, right? And I want to speak on teaching organizations or group about sales, but the industry that you want to speak to is, let's just say, college student or high school students, right? Well, that audience or that interest, the industry that you want to speak to may not necessarily be interested in the interest of the thing that you want to talk about. So you have to make sure that there's alignment there, not only in the industry and who you want to speak to, but what it is and the interest that you have. So interest has to be a two-way street. Also, it's important to note that just because you are interested in something doesn't mean that the industry that you're interested in is interested in that. There's a lot of interest in there, I know, but let me say that another way. Okay? Just because it's important to you doesn't make it important to them. Just because you think it should be important to them doesn't make it important to them. Does that make sense? Right? So if I say, well, I think it is important that we teach sales to high school students because selling is a really important thing. Well, just because you think it should be important to them doesn't make it so. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden that industry or that audience or whoever's hiring for that industry is suddenly going to be interested in you talking about that subject or topic. So there has to be this alignment between the industry of who it is that you want to speak to and then the interest of what it is that you want to talk about. Make sense? Okay. The third and final piece here would be what we will call integrity. Integrity, meaning, are you qualified to talk about this subject or topic? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be the world's greatest expert on that topic. And I think that's a challenge that a lot of speakers have, is thinking, well, like, Grant, I'm not an expert. There's people that know more about this than me. So what does that mean? Does that mean that I should do this or shouldn't do this? Listen, there's always going to be people that know way more about whatever the subject or topic is than you. That's fine. That's okay. The point is are you qualified? Are you credible as an authority to talk on that subject or topic? So again, we have all three pieces. We have the industry, the interest, and the integrity. The key thing here is you have to have all three. You have to have all three. And what happens is, if you don't, it becomes a little bit lopsided. So for example, let's just say you know who you want to speak to, you know what you want to speak about, but you're not qualified to speak on that. Then you become a fake speaker. You're someone you're not qualified to talk about it, and so it's hard to build a business that way. Let's imagine it this way. Let's say that you have something that you're interested in talking about. You are qualified to talk about it, but nobody's interested in paying you for it. Then all of a sudden you become a broke speaker because there's no money there. You can't make a living trying to get booked to speak to audiences that don't care about the topic that you want to talk about. Okay, let's shift it again. Let's say that you know who you want to speak to. You're qualified to talk about the subject or topic, but the industry that you want to talk about doesn't care about that subject or topic. You can't build a business that way. You have to have all three: the industry, the interest, and the integrity that qualifies you to speak on that subject or topic. Now, for a lot of speakers, you may be thinking this through and going like, well, Grant, I got like 94 different things that I could speak about, or things that I'm intrigued to speak about, or I'm interested in a bunch of these different types of industries. So what do I do at this point? How do I pick just one? The important thing is, remember here, you are not making some type of like career, life, marriage commitment decision here. All right. The point is we're going to pick just one industry. We're going to pick one topic, and that's what we are going to focus on for the next, 6 months to a year or something. But it gives us some starting point, because if you continue to overanalyze, well, should I go to speak to this industry or should I talk on that subject? You'll end up spreading yourself so thin and saying, well, I don't want to lose out on any opportunities if I only speak on these things. But again, think about it from the perspective of the client. If they come to your site, or if they're looking at some of your marketing materials and what you're communicating is, I can speak about anything to anybody, the reality is you can speak to nobody about anything. You're the jack of all trades and the master of none. And that's definitely something that you don't want to position yourself as a speaker. So make sure that, again, you're really clear on the industry, who it is that you speak to, the interest of what it is that you talk about, and then the integrity piece of making sure that you are qualified to talk about that certain topic or subject. So like I mentioned, this is just kind of a quick high-level view here of what we cover in the Speaker Success Roadmap. If you want to learn more about that, again, we have a free training you can check out at freespeakerworkshop.com. Again, freespeakerworkshop.com. I would definitely encourage you to stop by, register, check that out. We'll do a training very soon and help you build and grow your speaking business. So whether you're brand new, just getting started, or you've been doing it for a little while, wherever you're at in your journey, we want to help you build and grow your speaking business and help you find and book paid speaking engagements. So again, definitely stop by freespeakerworkshop.com, register for that. And like I mentioned before, if you do have other questions, feel free to leave those in the comments right below this video. I'll try to answer as many of those as possible, and we will see you again real soon. You're awesome.